And by the way, that's not just words. That's not just words. In the 15 years I've been standing up against corruption and learning along the way, I've made mistakes. I've had successes. But my heart's been in the right place. And I've learned more. And I know how dangerous it is to be in the position I'm in. And how dangerous it is to be in the position that many prominent leaders of 9/11 Truth are. Because the establishment isn't just making fun of us anymore. In internal White House memos, they're saying we're very dangerous because we are actually reaching people. And depending on the poll you look at in the last 8 years, between 36% and 84%, Angus and Reid New York Times poll, 2006, 84% believe they're being lied to about the official story. And as 9/11 Truth continues to travel the country and the world and points out that 6 of the 10 commissioners have been all over major newspapers, but just a blurb here, a blurb there, saying we were lied to, this is a fraud, this is a cover-up. As 9/11 Truth takes that memo from the White House admits it's theirs. They got it through a FOIA request. Imagine what else they got. That the White House ordered the 9/11 Commission not investigate 9/11. Think about how damning that is. Because it's been a process in the last 8 years, looking at all the evidence, following every rabbit trail, some dead ends, some that go very important places, to a point now that we have a brain trust of people, tens of millions around the world, who are watching and looking and reading and listening inside corporations, inside the Pentagon, inside the halls of Congress and police departments, inside the state houses. To now, we've gotten to the point with the Christmas Day bomber that within a day, Kurt Haskell and his wife, both lawyers, were on that flight from Amsterdam to Detroit. And as soon as they saw the fire start, they didn't hear an explosion, they began to pay attention to what they'd seen. And they thought back and said, wait, a sharp-dressed guy brought the underwear bomber up without a passport, without ID, through the naked body scanners, through the security. They have naked body scanners in Amsterdam. And got him on the plane, had an argument with him, but basically flashed rank and got him on the plane without an ID, without a passport. And the FBI came to his office, tried to intimidate him and his wife. The FBI said he was a liar, and then more witnesses came out and said, oh, we saw the same thing. That they'd seen, once they got off the plane in Detroit, another man, the dog ran up to his bag. They found a bomb. They said, everybody's got to get out of here. The FBI said, you didn't see that either. The FBI said, you didn't see someone on the plane the entire flight with a camera trained on the underwear bomber. And then, a month and a half after that, the FBI came out and said, okay, it's true. Somebody else did help him get on the plane, and there was somebody else we arrested, but we're not going to tell you why. And we do think he had help. And then the Undersecretary of the State Department, Mr. Kennedy, gave a press conference. You pull it up on C-SPAN, online. They've now put their entire archives up. And he said, an unnamed U.S. intelligence agency ordered us to give him a visa and to help him get on the plane. Absolute setup. The underwear bomber thought he was taking part in a drill. And it's the same in every case. Fort Hood, clear evidence that guy was an intelligence asset, thought he was going around flushing out radical Muslims. He was connected to this al-Lehi guy who's always there in every case, setting up all the patsies. They knew for 2 years he was talking about killing people, and they declared national security on all those emails. And there was a drill at Fort Hood that day of a mass shooter. Think about that. It's the same thing every single time. But I go back to the fact that we have eyes and ears everywhere. This time, when they staged an event on an airplane on Christmas Day, 9/11 truthers were on that plane. Kurt Haskell's a 9/11 truther. You want to know why they're so mad and demonizing 9/11 truth and staging events to blame it on us? Because we've got their number. We know they are the terrorists. We know they are staging almost every event, purely staging them. And then every other event, every time I hear about an event, I go investigate it, praying it's a real event. praying it's not the government staging it. Because it's a lot less scary to think there's some random nutballs out killing people than to think the folks running the highway cameras and the police in black masks and the armored vehicles are staging terror attacks. There's this cliche the media always puts out when they call me, national television, print, newspapers, you name it. Oh, Alex, you just want order in the world. You just think it's scary to think random people might get you. So you want to bring order to the universe. So you imagine all of this. And I say, what are you talking about? I'm going off the facts, off the proof, off the history. It is much more frightening, much more terrifying at my core to know that I'm being forced, because we have no future if we don't, to go up against people that lied about WMDs, killed over 1 million Iraqis just for oil and weapons sales. That's a lot more scary than going along with the system and just hating Arabs and Muslims and talking about how they're going to kill us all day, when the true radical Muslim brigades all over the world throughout history are run by first Hitler and now the CIA and MI6 on record. It is their foreign brigade that they use to go in to secular or to elected governments in the Middle East or Central Asia and to bring them down. That's who al-Qaeda is, the sword of the New World Order. Damn al-Qaeda! Damn al-Qaeda to hell! I'm not going to speak much more because I want to give more time to the architects and engineers, Dr. Bob Bowman, that's coming up. But, again, there's just so many points that we need to make to everyone out there watching, and that you need to make to your friends and family. You need to take it to them and show it to them. Dick-Cheney, 3 years ago, and I remember talking to Ray McGovern, former CIA briefer for Reagan and Bush, and he said, on air, the word is they're going to stage a Gulf of Tonkin in the Strait of Hormuz or in the Persian Gulf area south of there as a pretext to go into Iran. And now we know it was green-lighted. And Admiral Fox Phelan and others said, I'm not going to be part of it, I'm going to resign. We would have already had a war with Iran that could have been the trigger for World War III. In fact, most of the geopolitical military experts say it would probably go in that direction. Very good chance of it. If a lot of the top brass hadn't stood up and said no. That's why, what, a year ago, Admiral Mullen, Joint Chiefs of Staff, went to Israel for the first time ever and in a speech said, we know what happened with the USS Liberty and something like that better not happen again, as an attempt to sink that ship to blame it on Egypt. And that could have launched World War III because they had a defense deal with the Russians in 1967. Think about how close we are. And the establishment wants a new war.